I'm Sarah Lawson.
And I'm Marissa Avname.
And you're watching VNN.
Welcome to the September edition of VNN.
This is our very first VNN of the semester, and we are so excited to be back on campus and joined by all of you.
Sarah said it best, we are jazzed to be back here on campus. And as you may notice, we're in a brand new studio, brand new semester, new studio, Sarah.
New semester, new studio is right.
And this is an exciting time, not only for us here at VNN, but also for the rest of the country. The November election is right around the corner, and voters are gearing up to cast their ballot.
VNN correspondent Abigail Bowen has a story on Belmont's Rock the Vote, a 90-minute concert event to promote voter registration.
I'm Abigail Bowen, and I recently caught up with some of the students who made Rock the Vote happen, a live 90-minute concert that was streamed on Facebook and YouTube. The event, which featured performances from local Nashville students and alumni, focused on voter registration and making sure that young people were getting to the polls. Senior music business and songwriting major Kate Cosentino was excited to host the event because she knew how important the young voter is.
Events like Rock the Vote are important because it serves to make the desire to vote more accessible to the average person.
Throughout the performances, Cosentino and the performers of the night informed students that they can get information about voter registration by texting YALL to 788-683. They also talked about their plans to vote and why voting is important, especially for college students.
I think it's nice to have an entertainment medium that takes the time to be like, hey, that thing, it's not going to take you, no one's going to register you for you. And this affects you in a really big way. So, let's make it fun and encourage you to do this in a way that's, accessible and very bipartisan, too. I think that's really important that Rock the Vote is just vote.
Belmont alumni like Bryn Joy and Moon Taxi performed alongside bands and artists from other local schools, such as Summer Jade from Tennessee State University, the Melodors from Vanderbilt University, Lauren McClinton from Fisk University, and Shelter Cove from Middle Tennessee State University. Senior Annie DeRusso, who won the Curb College Pop Rock Showcase in February, performed her newest single, 20, at Rock the Vote. For her, Rock the Vote was truly about learning how to be an educated voter.
I think that I was honored to be there on Belmont's behalf, and I hope everyone goes out to register to vote, especially Belmont students. We have the debate happening here. It's right on our own ground. So, making sure that everyone's educated about what's happening and can really know why they're voting, in addition to getting registered and doing it, is important.
DeRusso believes that putting politics and music together is a great way to get students involved in American democracy.
I think that pairing politics with music is so important, especially for people that aren't super well-versed or didn't know how to register to vote. Rock the Vote makes it so easy. You just go on their website and they're like, are you registered? You figure it out. And then if not, in 2 minutes, you're registered, But getting that step of getting registered to vote and getting out there is something I think organizations like Headcount or Rock the Vote are great at.
The show ended with a 30-minute set from the Belmont alumni band Moon Taxi, who used their platform to encourage students to vote and let their voices be heard. For VNN, I'm Abigail Bowen.
Every state has its own process for voter registration and to cast an absentee ballot if you can't make it home for this year's election. And the deadline is quickly approaching.
And for more information on your state's deadlines and voter registration, make sure to visit your state government website so you can make sure that your ballot is casted this year.
Back on our campus, it has been an unprecedented year as the coronavirus has forced Welcome Week to go online.
VNN's Jordan Chateau has the story on virtual Welcome Week and a recap of Move-In.
I'm Jordan Chateau here at Hale Residence Hall. This month, Belmont welcomed its students back onto campus after hosting its classes online for the first 3 weeks of the semester. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Belmont students were not able to move onto campus the week of August 14th as originally planned. This meant no in-person Welcome Week and a very different move-in experience from years past. For TT leaders like Campbell Severanth, the Welcome Week events are still worthwhile for incoming students, even if they're hosted over Zoom.
We did a really great job about, turning our lemons into lemonade, so to speak. The overall experience of Welcome Week was just entirely different than it's supposed to be. We did a good job of like making it as close as possible with the resources we had.
One of the ways TT leaders like Alex West were able to make virtual Welcome Week just as engaging as years prior was changing his Zoom background to match the event or even function as a fun icebreaker.
I did utilize my backgrounds, changing the Zoom background very often. For story time, I changed it to like a little like campfire behind me in a forest. I'm obsessed with Lotso from Toy Story 3, which is really random. So I would just change my background to Lotso or Carly Rae Jepsen, who is like my role model. So, I mean, that was fun.
For freshman Jordan Smith, the move-in experience provided reassurance about his decision to come to Belmont.
I don't know how to explain it. When driving from our hotel to Belmont when we were moving in, I had a lot of doubts and anxieties. And as soon as we turned that corner onto the straightaway where everyone was cheering and unloading the car, I just felt very assured with myself of where I was.
Throughout the move-in process, students like freshman Andrew Lee were comforted by their RAs and TT leaders, welcoming them into their new home for the year.
They made that such a good experience, and I felt so welcomed. And I was like, you know what? I'm staying at Belmont. I'm happy I'm here. I'm going to be happy that I'm going to be here for the next 4 years of my life. I'm in love with Belmont.
During the move-in process, TT leaders and RAs followed all of Belmont's required safety guidelines, such as wearing masks and trying to maintain social distancing. For VNN, I'm Jordan Chateau.
Even with this virtual shift we've seen, Belmont students and alumni have continued to pursue their passions.
And Sarah, you spoke to a group of students who are taking the theater stage to the Zoom screen.
That's right, I did. Let's go and check out that story now. As the saying goes, the show must go on, and that includes when stages across the country remain empty. As the COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant influence on theaters across the country, many theaters, including Broadway, remain closed throughout the end of the year. I spoke with theater performance alumni Madison Bailey to gain a better understanding of the impact on performers.
So I'm a planner. I had a life plan. I had backup plans to my life plan. I had literally 4 different plans for post-grad, and then all of them crumbled when COVID hit.
To face these challenges, Bailey and fellow Belmont alumni Rachel Nicole founded Uprooted Theatrical Studios, where they produce plays and musicals from the actors' very own living rooms.
We wanted to create an environment and a platform where people could go and continue to work on their craft. Yeah. Because for us, that's what helps us get out of the sad times.
For Belmont students like theater costume design major Zachary Payne, these shows are an opportunity to explore their passion, even with COVID-19 limitations.
It's definitely great for your mental health because you're doing what you love. You're getting to explore the art form that you have come to love over the past few years, and you're growing as an artist. So like even during a time like this, you're still continuing to learn and grow and get better so that when we do come out of this, we are prepared to enter back into the world and back into the industry.
After a short rehearsal period, each of Uprooted's performances is recorded and posted on their YouTube channel for audiences to view from their homes.
There was a part where one character handed a flower to another character. So I think we spent like 15 minutes just like blocking where in their frame they're handing their flower and where in their frame the other actor is taking the flower.
Bailey's virtual studio does more than just put on shows. Uprooted also puts an emphasis on providing resources for those in the theater industry.
We have knowledge to give, but other professionals who have worked a lot longer than us have even more. So why not reach out and get all of this information and put it in a place where people who may not have access to it have access to it.
Through performances and education, Uprooted Theatrical Studios is making sure the curtain isn't completely pulled on theater, one Zoom call at a time. For VNN, I'm Sarah Lawson.
It's amazing to see Belmont students continuing to pursue their passions, even during these unprecedented times.
Yes, it is, and we've seen this throughout Belmont's community, including with our songwriters.
Which is why we are so excited to introduce our brand new segment called Inside the Song, where we sit down with Belmont artists and get the inside look into their songs.
VNN correspondent Madison Bowen sat down with Liv to get more information about her song, JJ's Lullaby.
I'm Madison Bowen, and I caught up with Liv to go inside the lyrics of her song, JJ's Lullaby.
So what inspired JJ's Lullaby?
Well, I wrote this my freshman year. I'm a junior now, and I wasn't trying to write for anything really. I was just in the practice room, just trying to like empty my thoughts. Yeah, it's basically just about not feeling good enough for someone and keep going back to those moments with them and like wondering why you weren't good enough for them.
Taxis and broken heart.
Walk me through the first verse of lyrics. What is the meaning behind those?
Okay, so taxis and broken hearts. In the first verse, I just wanted to put someone in that situation, know exactly how I feel. I did it again in the second verse. When I wrote it, I decided it really reminded me a lot of like a movie, and like how even the first lyrics like puts you in that moment where you're just like in a taxi. For me, I just imagined myself in New York City and like the rain was pouring down. It reminds me a lot of like Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Tell me the good times we were laughing didn't mean a thing to you.
How do you feel the chorus connects the two verses from one to the next?
The chorus basically elaborates on the feeling in the first verse and the second verse, basically explaining exactly that you just didn't feel good enough for that person and you want to know why.
Tell me you're out there living when I can't get over you. Don't tell me my love is not enough for you.
The second part of the second verse is basically that moment where you realize like that person isn't a bad person and they wouldn't want you to be hurting. And I love the second chorus when I say that and then all the harmonies come in, because I was gonna have a bridge for it, but I decided not to because I felt like it was a moment to feel the music instead of like listening so hard on the lyrics.
Don't tell me the good times we were laughing didn't mean a thing to you. Don't tell me the stars align just for me, not you.
What would you like most for listeners to take away from your song?
I would like my listeners to connect with that feeling and not feel alone if they've ever not felt good enough. Like that was really important to me. It's a really personal song. My whole EP is really personal, but it's very pop and I love writing like bops and everything. It's like my favorite thing in the world, but I definitely feel like that song was scary to release because it's so personal and like so vulnerable, but it feels so refreshing. Like I feel like I can release anything now and not be scared.
For VNN, I'm Madison Bowen.
That's it for this edition of VNN. Thanks for tuning in to our first broadcast of the 2020-2021 school year.
Stay healthy, Bruins.